Yo, 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 welcome back to the Out the Box Show. I'm John Wallace alongside my co-host James Luffy. We are missing Roy Luke tonight. We miss him a lot. He will be back soon, promise you that. But Luff, it is great to be back with you in the
Great to be
booth.
back. Great to be back. And we got a lot to talk about.
Yes. LSU is playing in a bowl game
Yeah.
on Monday. LSU basketball. We're actually about to head to the PMAC after
Yep.
we get done recording. It's going to be kind of pointless for us to preview it and then go to the game and then release the episode today or tomorrow in our terms, today in your terms. But we're going to talk a little hoops. We're going to talk a little LSU football portal news, maybe some overall transfer portal news.
Signing class and portal. Yep.
So lots of football to kind of put not a cap on the football season, but the bowl game is on Monday, which stinks because me and you both had kind of two different perspectives on the bowl game. I said, wow, it's going to stink that it's Monday at noon while I'm sitting at work. And you were like, well, it's actually kind of good because then it gives you something to do while you're at work.
Yep.
So
makes a day go by faster,
Yep.
Kind of a lousy day after New Year's Eve. So
Yep. Everybody's kind of moving slow into the new year, but we got a lot to get to on this show, so we're just going to get right to it. But before we do all that, I want to give you a huge shout out to Blaine Loop with Keller Williams Realty. Blaine wants to be your friend, your neighbor, and your agent. I talk to Blaine all the time. Blaine is loving the real estate game. Like, it's different whenever you have somebody who actually loves what they do and wants to really help you out. Like, some people have a job and some people have like a career, a passion. Blaine falls into that category. Make sure to call or text Blaine Loop at 504-858-0031 for all your housing need. Great sponsor and guest co-host of the Out the Box podcast sometimes.
Yep.
Also, shout out to the Boot Crew Media Network, bootcrewmedia.com, and on social media at Boot Crew Media. Make sure to check it out. We say it all the time.
Look, the Pels are flocking right now. So if you need Pels news, you go over to Boot Crew. You go find Pro Pels Talk. You follow them. You listen to them. You see their clips on Instagram and Twitter and everything. If you want all things Pels, Boot Crew Media, Pro Pels Talk, you got it.
And there's another podcast too. If you want to supplement your Pro Pels Talk podcast, I believe it's called the Pelicans Report, and they're constantly like tagging each other on posts and whatnot. So right now is the time to get all your Pels content on bootcrewmedia.com and on social media at bootcrewmedia.
Pels are rolling.
All right. Luffy, have you, first of all, did you have this was the longest we've been without being in the podcast booth. I don't remember the last time we went 2 weeks without putting out an episode, but
maybe the summer or something. But other than that, we've been in here.
I think it was much needed. I mean, like we had said, we work very hard as podcasters, and a lot of people don't realize how exhausting it may be. And I think it's safe to say that you and I are more refreshed than ever. Christmas just happened. You had a good Christmas. The family's all good.
Yep.
Santa, you want to say
Santa was good.
Santa brought you?
Santa brought me some new LSU gear, so be ready to go for the basketball game tonight.
Debut for the game. Good. Don't ask what Santa got me.
What did he get you?
Straight up.
He gave you 100% off on your rent?
100% off on my rent. There you go. No, it was a great Christmas. We hope everyone at Out the Box had a fantastic Christmas, and New Year's Day is on Sunday. So we hope everybody has a fantastic New Year's. Please stay safe. And we just want y'all to know that we are ready to rock and roll in 2023. Like LSU baseball, by the way, we're not going to talk much baseball until after the bowl game.
Well, I'll say this: 50 days away from college baseball.
I did not know that.
Yeah,
that's great. We're going to announce however many days there are each episode leading up, and we'll be doing a lot of content leading up to that. Maybe we'll have to get some of our OG guests on from the LSU baseball realm. But
might have to get Chris Reed on. Ask him about his
I think that's a good idea.
His recruiting takes and also this little baseball preview.
Okay. Yeah. That I will hit him up. But LSU is ranked number 1 in the preseason, which is kind of scary. So I know you and I have both kind of said that we don't like being number 1. It's not good to start off number 1 because you know how hard it is to start off number 1 and end number 1.
Yeah.
Pretty difficult. So lots of baseball content coming up. That be on the lookout for that. 2023 is right around the corner, obviously. So, all right, have you changed your opinion on LSU in the Citrus Bowl since we last were podcasting? Because I think originally you were not very excited. It was kind of underwhelming, and I think you had every reason to be, but just because of what could have been, right?
Yeah, no, it's not the bowl game we're playing in. I don't think, besides a playoff game, I don't think my opinion changes on bowl games really at all. I mean, maybe it might change if I go to the game or not, just on where it's being played. But I still think that you're looking for the young players, that guys that didn't play as much during the season with all the opt outs, and guys going to the draft and guys in the transfer portal, to see what these young guys, what they're made of, and see them get real game action. And it'll be about this week leading up into the game and how they're practicing, getting those extra reps in before the spring, really more than the game. Yes, you want to win, especially with Purdue's coach leaving.
10 wins.
All the other factors, 10 wins.
Drew Brees.
Trader, yep.
Imagine.
I better not catch any y'all liking Drew Brees Purdue Instagram post too. I called our roommate Stinson, and he's punished right now. So
what has Drew Brees even done for the state of Louisiana?
Right?
No, that actually is really cool. Drew Brees has been a supporter of LSU.
Yeah, for sure. I'm joking about this, and the game. I think we're gonna win. I don't think we'll. It's going to be like some incredible game, but I think that we're going to win, and it'll be a good way to, and Kelly said it in that video that LSU released today, that it's a good way to end the season, but a better way to start the next year, which I totally agree with. So, it's, as far as like getting into the nitty gritty details of the game, I don't think we're going to do that as far as the preview goes here, but this time of year, it's more important that we close out a good signing class. It's more important that we get guys in the transfer portal who can play right away than this bowl game really is. But yes, I do want to win it, and I think we will, with all the coach leaving and the quarterback opting out.
So let's start here. LSU ended the season, played in the SEC championship 9-4. Just to kind of recap. Ranked number 17. Not that rankings matter anymore at this point in the season. Purdue 8-5. The spread is LSU is favored by 14.5 points, which I think initially when you hear that, not a big fan of that. And the over/under
that changed. Yeah, it was like a touchdown. We were a touchdown favorite. Then they lost their coach and QB and opted out. So that changed a lot. That's what bowl games are in 2022, 2023. Stinks. And yeah, I mean, that's part of the portal. You can't be pro portal and pro bowl game and pro early signing day and pro bowl game. So you have to be kind of on one side of the fence or the other. And your college football take as a whole. You can't like the transfer portal, but also be like, well, bowl games are being diminished. It's like, well, you're a fan of the transfer portal, so you knew this was going to happen. We talked about this as a consequence of the new college football early signing period and transfer portal. So, yeah, I mean, it's a game that we really, I think, want to win just for momentum. You don't want to lose the last three ending the year.
Yeah, you're right. Anytime you leave a season, like getting to 10 wins, no matter how you do it, right? LSU got the extra game playing in the conference championship. We get a bowl game. I don't care what you say. Getting to 10 wins on a season, whether you play more games or not, that is a major accomplishment, especially given the circumstances started in the year, right?
And John, we haven't even talked about this. Jaden Daniels is coming back.
Yes. And that was, yeah.
Because we haven't been in studio since.
Yes.
That is the main thing that we're going to be watching for in this game. How's Jaden look? It is going to be different, though. Keishawn Butte is not playing. Yes. The scholarship receivers playing are Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, Landon Ibieta, and Kyron Lacey. Other than that, it'll be walk-ons. So thin receiving core for this game, but there's a couple guys there. Those guys are talented, so we don't expect to drop off there. Those guys that's valuable reps for them. But we still want to see Jaden, play well, and the offensive line too. Should be healthy, should be fresh. They've played together for a good amount of games now. They should look good. And this whole offense is coming back in 2023. So we want to see that part of the game. We want to move the ball consistently throughout the game. I don't think you want to have like one half be awful and one half be great. You'd like to see our offense consistently, be solid in this game, unlike the defense where we've had a lot of guys opt out. We've got a lot of guys in the portal, so that could be a new a new look defense that we haven't seen. There's no Alligay, there's no BJ Ojolari, there's no is Makai Gardner playing? Makai's playing, but overall, I think with the game being a new game and on a Monday, I think you want to just see us move the ball offensively and get a win.
Yes. So you mentioned Jaden Daniels will be the starter quarterback. I think, just to reiterate, that is massive going forward into the offseason, getting these reps with these young guys that he's going to be playing with next year. Kayshon Boutte, unfortunately, will not be playing. I think this might be a combination of things, but I think overall it's not the end of the world. He needs to focus on being back and ready for next year. Is Josh Williams playing? I'm looking at the injury report right now. It says probable with a knee.
I think he maybe will play. Yeah. And Emery should be playing. So, and that's one guy we don't know about, going into next year yet, whether he'll enter the draft or not. But, yeah, I think that Jaden Daniels coming back is a great thing. Having a fifth-year quarterback with a full year of SEC experience is a good thing. The LSU fans, everyone understands the argument for Nuss, but what you have in Jaden Daniels, and the biggest worry you have with Jaden is the injury thing. And I'm certainly happy that he is coming back, and I feel like that gives us an advantage in a lot of games going into next year, knowing that we have him playing quarterback. I mean, he beat Alabama this year by making plays with his feet and throwing the ball. I mean, the throw he made on the 2-point conversion isn't the easiest throw in the world. And throughout that game, he ran the touchdown in to win the game, to win in overtime to set up the 2-point conversion. So there's so many things that he can do well. You definitely want him to take that next step passing the ball, and he knows he's got to do that if he wants to play in the NFL. So, I'm excited he's coming back.
I did see something today. So this is the Cheez-It citrus bowl, correct?
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm about to get at?
The room or whatever?
Yeah. Are we going to so just to kind of paint the picture for those that did not see, I believe there was 4 players that Cheez-It picked to strike an NIL deal with, participating in the Cheez-It Bowl and the Citrus Bowl. One of those being LSU quarterback Garrett Nussmeier.
Mm-hmm.
And if you look at the room, it is just everything is Cheez-It. Everything is like cheese colored, red and cheese colored. I don't really, is that yellow? The bed as a Cheez-It comforter. So I guess my first question is, do we get to see Nussmeier at all in this game? Is there any reason for him to play? If
Jaden gets hurt, yes, or if we're up, maybe.
Because I do see that Walker Howard is out.
If we're up 3 touchdowns, then yeah, I would think so.
So I do see that Walker Howard. I don't know what this actually has to do with it, but I do see Walker Howard's out.
Really? Who sent that?
I'm looking at the score app.
Oh.
I don't know. It says
really?
Injuries, Walker Howard out, not injury related. Maybe does that have anything to do with burning a red shirt?
No, I don't know why he wouldn't be there.
I don't know. Maybe we'll have to do some more research. If anybody knows, make sure to tweet, DM us, text us. But anyway, somebody did mention if we do get to see Nussmeier play, does he come and ball out since he stayed in the Cheez-It room and quote unquote woke up feeling the cheesiest?
Yeah, I don't know. That room's kind of creepy. What do you think? Would you want to stay in that room? You probably
I
would
don't
love
know.
that.
No, I would, but I do love the commercial when they're in the locker room and they're down at halftime and the big wheel of cheese says he woke up feeling the cheesiest. So
Yeah.
and they're just ready to rock and roll. So anyway, that I just thought that was kind of a funny side note. While we're talking about the upcoming players leaving and staying and whatnot, shout out Matt Dupre. He did send us a text telling us to basically go through all the guys that are basically coming in and out of the LSU football program and entering the portal, going to the draft, new guys coming in. I think we'll get to the new guys that we've signed recently in the next segment. But shout out Matt Dupre, always coming in with the good questions. Okay, so here's a question. Does LSU cover the 14.5 points? I think it probably, if you get closer to game time, I would think it might move in Purdue's favor. What do you think?
I'm going to say LSU does cover
14.5.
14. Yeah, 14.5. Sure.
That makes a big difference now.
Yeah, I'll say yes.
Okay. What about the over-under? Over-under is 56 points.
Ooh, under.
I hate unders. You know that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I have no clue on that. It's bowl games are such a toss-up.
Yeah, I mean, it is crazy. I've been watching a lot of bowl games this bowl season, and it's just like you don't know like the psyche of some of these teams. Like obviously we're aware of LSU, but like there's a whole psyche involved in LSU. Like when you have a major player that decides to sit out, not only are you losing that on the field, right? But psychologically, your team's like, there has to be some sort of, oh, well, this is our guy. He's been riding with us all year, and now all of a sudden he's just not here, or vice versa. You have a guy coming in who's been wanting to sniff the field all year, and maybe he's not, I guess, as willing or not willing. I don't want to say willing, but not as in tune with the scheme and just the overall approach to what LSU wants to do. So
look, this is the last thing I'll say about the bowl game. That I think that Brian Kelly understands bowl games in 2023. It's let the guys go, let them have fun. Let's prepare and practice, be serious. But other than that, it's supposed to be a fun reward for the team. You have to re-recruit your team at 24/7 now with the portal. And I think that he understands that. He talked about that he wanted them to have like some fun days down in Orlando. And because when we go down next time, John, we're going to be playing Florida State. And guess what? Florida State's going to be ranked preseason top 10 next year. So it's going to be we're going to be ranked.
That's overrated.
We're going to be ranked 12th, between 12 and 10 going into next year. And they're going to be ranked 9th. That's going to be so there's not going to be any fun come next year. Bowl games right now are about keeping your team happy, letting them have fun, getting your work done in practice, getting stronger, and I think he gets that. And other than that, I'm done with the bowl game.
Well,
yeah.
The signing class and maybe some departures and some incoming guys, maybe through the portal as well. But before we do that, you want to clean up the LSU,
I will. Workbox LC. I think Martine is actually in this house right now. Present.
Is he?
I think that he is. Yes. So if you need anything, if you need a porta potty, if you need storage container, if you need a portable office, you need a luxury restroom rental, you have to call Martina Workbox. If you're redoing your house and you need a storage container, if you need a dumpster, you have to call Martina Workbox. They're the best in the business. Call Martine. It's 225-343-4886. All right. Do you want to do portal talk first, and then we'll go into signing class? Because everyone loves the portal, it seems like. And look, LSU has some obvious needs, special teams being a big one, and defensive tackle being a big one, and then cornerback being the biggest. You add Denver Harris, who played a lot for A&M. He obviously had some incidents at A&M where he was suspended, and he was a guy who was rumored to go to LSU. but ended up signing with A&M. I think at one point he may have even been committed to LSU, but he's from Houston. Cornerback who did play well, was graded out well, physical, bigger, or not like huge, but bigger physical corner, handsy corner, a guy that we're going to need to come in and start right away because the cornerback back depth is just not there for 2023. We're losing all of our guys this year. And the only guys you have come back are Seven Banks and Latarius Welsh, who are on the roster right now. Jalen Davis Robinson is transferring out after only 1 year. I don't get that. That's guys who transfer after the first year, unless the coaches are telling them you can't play here, you need to move on. Like you're never going to play here. You're soft. And that just is what it is. It's that transfer portal, got to play now mentality. So we're bringing in Denver Harrison, expecting him to start right away. I think that's your biggest addition, signing class, and right away, immediate impact guy. That's who you're looking at to come in and play. Yeah, I mean, he's 6'1", 200 pounds. But yeah, got to have him transferring from A&M. You know, that's what happens when you buy signing classes too. It's hard to get kids to stay at your school. And
they speaking of that, they had what 25
a decent amount of departures,
players entering the transfer portal.
I don't know the exact number. I don't think it's that high, but maybe it is. And then we added Zy Alexander, cornerback, 6'3", 185, skinny kid, but pretty athletic. Had a bunch of picks for Southeastern this year. I think you hopefully will rely on him as a depth piece, but you might not have anybody. So he could be a starter, maybe a little bit more potential than like a Colby Richardson, but
16 players in the transfer.
You have to hope that Zy Alexander is okay just because how thin we are at cornerback. We add Aaron Anderson, Louisiana, New Orleans native, went to Carr, I believe, but the speedster had an injury at Alabama, was only there for 1 year. He was one of those guys that you had heard had always wanted to come to LSU. He's coming back home. This is the prospect that you're hoping he can be that explosive guy on special teams. And if Chris Hilton isn't healthy next year, he's had some health concerns his first couple of years at LSU, can stretch the field offensively. Jordan Jefferson, little brother to Jordan, Ricky, and the best receiver, the MVP of the league, Justin Jefferson, their youngest brother, Jordan. Yes, there's two Jordans in the family, is coming back home from West Virginia to play defense tackle for us.
They're really both named Jordan?
No, that's not their brother.
Okay. Sorry. I thought it was like a.
Imagine.
I thought at minimum.
No, he's from Florida.
A Leonard and Leonard.
Anyway, he was productive at West Virginia. Jalen Lee from Florida, coming back home to Louisiana, played a couple years at Florida, was kind of a backup. Hopefully provide some depth there. Paris Shand, a big kind of alley gay body type, 6'5", 290, who's going to play the alley gay position for us, coming over from Arizona. And then Braden Swinson, the edge player or the jack player from Oregon, who from Georgia, but played at Oregon and, wasn't as productive as he probably should have been at Oregon. So hopefully the staff can turn him around and those guys can fit in, overall. And you have to hope some of those guys are just there to add depth, because if you're adding, like Kelly said, if you're just adding through the portal, Georgia's the best team in the country. They have 0 portal additions to their team. They didn't take anybody last year. Do you know that?
I guess if you know what you got and you recruit correctly, you don't need to use a transfer portal.
Exactly. I mean, they will use it some this year. Georgia will, but overall, I mean, that's what the portal, that's what it should be for, to fill a few spots and add some depth. And I still think they're going to have to add another. We're going to lose more guys in the spring. Some guys we lost, Des Little, who's like the edge player. That's kind of why Swinson's been brought in. Who else did we lose, John? We lost Cam Wire. We lost Marcus Duberville. I don't have my sheet with me, and I can't find it now. We lost a couple backup offensive linemen. Who else have we lost? It's mostly been on the defensive side of the ball, but it's been, it hasn't been bad as far as I would say the amount of losses we've taken. And I
think
think
if
that
you look at the I guess the canvas for what Brian Kelly had last
Mhm.
year when he started, it's looking a lot better. I guess depth wise.
Yeah.
At this point now, like if you had to imagine a painting, the painting's like got its initial like coat on it, right? It's got a little bit of it painted. It's probably got it traced out, kind of how the artist wants it and all that, and then you got to start filling in the tracing. Once you get the tracing down, it's almost like just a coloring book, you know?
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't really want to lose Des Little. I thought that he could. Okay, we lost Jack Besh, who I don't know how I forgot, but Besh obviously wasn't happy with his playing time this year. He came out and said on Mikey Matuk's podcast that he wasn't given the right opportunity to play. We lost Cole Taylor, who was passed by freshman Mason Taylor this year, tight end. We lost Cam Wire, tackle, who was passed by our two freshmen, Xavier Hill, guard from Mississippi, who they were high on a little bit. We did lose Marcus Duberville, sophomore, so we've lost some depth on that offensive line. We lost Philip Webb and Antoine Samp, who were not even on the roster this year, and were both guys recruited by the previous staff. Colby Fields, who actually just transferred in, who just played special teams for us this year, but he's transferring back out, linebacker. Demarius McGee, who I would have liked to hold on to either McGee or Rodarius Jones, both cornerbacks. Rodarius is committed to Mississippi State. Jalen Davis Robinson, the freshman. Derek Davis, who's with the team for the bowl game. I'm assuming they're still trying to convince him to stay, who played running back in that one game we went to, John, but was recruited as a safety. So that's kind of all the guys we lost. Would you like to lose a good team guy like Besh? No. But that's just part of the portal these days.
Yeah, I think Besh it was kind of he was a great team leader in a year last year when LSU really needed him. This year, injuries shakes out. I mean, the dude was banged up all year, right? I believe it eventually came out that he had a concussion.
No, that's not true. He said he came out and said that he had not had a concussion, and that was a rumor. I know he had the shin splints. Yeah,
he was banged up throughout the year. I know his back was hurt a little bit, I believe, right?
Yeah, he had like some spasms.
Yeah. So look, I mean, things work out and they don't. Like we mentioned it before. I think he announced that he was transferring on one of our last episodes. But yeah, definitely just the thing you're going to lose the most from him is the team leader guy. Yeah. I mean, he went to SEC Media Days as a sophomore.
Yeah.
So okay, that was pretty comprehensive.
You want to talk about anything before I get to the recruiting class?
No, I do want to give a shout out to DraftKings. Make sure to download the official sports betting partner of Boot Crew Media, the DraftKings app. Use promo code BOOT at just $5 and get 200 in free bets if your team wins. Restrictions apply. 21 plus. See show notes for details. Promo code BOOT, BOOT.
All right, so we had early signing day, which has really become signing day now. Most guys sign early. We have 15 early enrollees, which is a good number, 25 commits, the number 7 class in the country. There's some Louisiana guys that we lost that, we didn't want to lose. And then we lost Desmond Ricks at the end. Obviously, we lost Manning. We lost the quarterback from Denham. We lost Tackett Curtis, who's going to USC, probably the best linebacker in the country. It was a hard recruiting class. I mean, these guys have been in contact by other schools. We lost a kid to Texas. We lost a kid to Tennessee, Jordan Matthews. From the state of Louisiana, they have not had those relationships because this is Brian Kelly's first recruiting class. But let's see how next year goes as far as full years of connections for a couple of years. These guys, had maybe been put off by the previous staffs, last two.
He's got to meet these guys when they're freshmen. freshmen, sophomores in high school, and it takes a couple of years.
And
I'm fine with that.
We did lose some guys, but it's not all bad. This is probably the best O-line class that we've recruited in a long time. I mean, last year, really, though, with Will Campbell and Emory Jones, it's hard to say that this one's better, but we haven't had 2 consistent years where we recruited O-line classes in a long time.
Oh, Will Campbell's going to have a little competition.
Yeah.
So at left tackle.
Zalance Hurd is our 5-star offensive lineman from Neville High School, Monroe, who played with Will Campbell. Shelton Sampson from Baton Rouge, wide receiver, also a 5-star on some sites. Deshaun Womack, 5-star on some sites. Edge rusher.
Hold on. Breaking news.
What's that?
This is going to throw a wrench in a few things. Rory just sent in our group text a tweet from Keishawn Butte that says, after careful thoughts and consideration, I will be declaring for the 2023 NFL draft. Oh my gosh. Wowzers. Let's hold on before we break this news in the podcast booth. Let me go to LSU. I'm sure LSU Twitter is very happy right now. Yeah. 10. It looks like it's from the official blue check mark. Keishawn Butte. Yep, I will be declaring for the 2023 NFL draft.
All right, well, he's declaring for the draft because he was, I think, suspended from per sources for the bowl game. I don't really think that he was very into school, and I think that probably played the biggest decision or part in this decision.
I just don't get how. So I mean, you're looking at his Twitter. I mean, I guess things can change in 3 weeks, but what changed in 3 weeks that he was just like, you know what? I made this big announcement that I'm coming back and everything's good, and then 3 weeks later he's just like, nah, I changed my mind, which is kind of on par for like the transfer portal and news and like college football today, right? You can commit somewhere and then decommit. You can be somewhere for a year and you can end up at 4 or 5 schools by the time it's all said and done, you know, via the transfer portal. But yeah, I mean, I think it's a lot better than us losing somebody on somebody in a room that is not so packed.
And
right?
and
I think our wide receivers are going to be fine. I think we have done a lot better? Could Jaden Daniels and Keishawn Boutte built something and built upon this past year and raised Keishawn's NFL draft stock? Yes. Do I think that Keishawn is going to go to the NFL and have a decent career? Yes. So I don't know. You don't know what goes into all these decisions. I can't imagine making money decisions, life-changing money decisions.
Yeah, I mean, I think that may be part of it. I think the school thing is a bigger part of it. And you know, it's whatever. Like you said, lose a wide receiver, you get another one in.
We're good. So
look, Jalen,
anyway, that's quite a. I didn't mean to cut you off.
No.
I felt like I had to get that out in the open.
No worries.
Live while we're recording.
Look, we were just talking about 2 of the receivers that were bringing in. Shelton Sampson from Catholic High.
Yeah.
Come on, give me your Catholic High. Give me your best.
Catholic High.
He's kind of impressive.
Honestly, I'm not good at doing that.
That wasn't bad.
Was it? Okay?
No, it was pretty good.
We'll have to tweet it at Moscona and see if he
and Jalen Brown, both coming in, highly rated, recruits, both 5 stars on some sites and guys that could probably help right away. You bring Aaron Anderson in, who we just talked about from Alabama. So you have guys coming in that receiver room to supplement a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised if we go grab another transfer in the spring. I think you'll probably see us add a transfer O-lineman in the spring, a transfer cornerback, and a transfer receiver.
So let me ask you this. I know this has more to do with the transfer portal, and we didn't really talk about it. After Nussmeier cashes in on his Cheez-It NFL, or not NFL, NIL deal, does he enter the transfer portal now that we know Jaden Daniels is staying?
Yeah, he'll either enter now or he'll go through spring. If he's not the QB, then I would probably.
Do you think it'd be in his best interest to just go after the bowl game?
No, I mean, I think so. I think that probably will happen. So,
I mean,
you know,
the way I've been talking about it, it's almost like it sounds like I want him to leave. I don't want that. I just think that's just is what it is.
no, I
I
don't want him to leave at all because you don't
exactly
know what you have in Walker Howard. He hadn't played in a game or anything. So,
right.
and you know, everyone's always one play away. It's
But
as bad as that is to say.
You got to give it to Nussmeier. The dude, came in last year under horrible circumstances.
Yeah.
Stuck it out for 2 years, and like you said, if you don't at least see the path that you're going to get to the field by the end of your sophomore year, you got to reevaluate, right?
Yep.
Freshman year, that's soft, right? Like if he would have just transferred after his freshman year,
the quarterback position, sure.
Well, even
I don't agree with that in other positions at all. There's receivers. Remember Deion Jones didn't break out and was the star in his senior year. Now he's still playing in the NFL with a big contract.
Right. So you're saying a quarterback transferring after freshman year.
I'm saying if a quarterback, no, after a couple of years, but I'm saying another position, like if you're a sophomore and you don't think, I don't know, he still has 3 years of eligibility.
Okay, so a quarterback after their second year,
the quarterback's more understandable. A receiver or a DB or a linebacker, like that's you're around the best players to get pushed.
Sure.
The kid who is not going to
what's his name? The coldest. I mean, that dude's gonna bounce around forever. He hasn't shown. Honestly, there's something to be said like for you just committing to something. Like NFL players, when they sign these big contracts, when the GM and the organization signs these big contracts, don't they sign them wanting them to stay there for a long time? Most likely. I get there's age and there's money involved and all that, but like when you bounce around in the transfer portal, I just think unless you have like a great reason, kind of on the same page with what you're saying, Luffy. I mean, you could literally, all it takes is one season for you to break out and raise your draft stock and go to the NFL and make a lot of money.
Why were LSU linebackers breaking out in their junior and senior seasons every year for the last 10 years? Because they've been practicing and playing against the best but it's okay, whatever.
Right.
If you break out early, you break out, but they every day they're going against the best.
You look at Baskerville. I mean, he's stuck around.
And you're looking up to Devin White, a guy who grinds and is working his ass off every day and practice. And like, that's a good role model. If you go transfer to like New Mexico State or Colorado or somewhere like that, then you might not be going against that your drive. You're not getting pushed, everyone's got to be pushed to be a little bit better. And
I think you're spot on with that. I mean, like I said, the commitment and growing around a culture. I mean, if you bounce around too, I mean, think about how different like Coach O and Brian Kelly's cultures were around LSU. Think about how different Dabo's culture would be from Nick Saban's or from Brian Kelly or any of these coaches. I mean, it's all different environments. And I feel like the more you're around in one, you have a better shot to succeed. But if you're just transferring because you think you're better than some other players, I don't know. That's just.
And John, we signed Ricky Collins this year, so he'll be an early enrollee. He'll be at spring practice. So if we do lose Nuss, there still is 3 scholarship QBs competing. Yeah. You have to add a QB every year now. People say, well, no, you can just go get one in the portal. No, you'd like to develop some and see if you can get somebody who's going to break out and be that star, because we have Colin Hurley committed for 2024, which is the next signing class. He's more highly recruited than Ricky Collins, but you don't know what you're going to get necessarily out of these quarterbacks and which ones are going to be good. But, you have to keep stacking them on top, and you have to keep stacking quality recruits like Ricky, like Colin on top to try to find that star in the bunch.
Did you mention Taviano?
No, I have not.
Or were you doing the offense first? Or
no, I'm not going to mention everybody just because it will take an hour.
That was just a huge hit from. Is he?
No, definitely Texas. Yeah, no, he's coming in. He'll be next year. He'll be here in.
So the number one cornerback in the nation.
He'll be here in a week and a half. No, that's not. That was Desmond Ricks, who we lost. But Taviano, a highly recruited kid. I think he's 5th at his position.
Okay, I did have Ricks 50th. And Taviano. It's Taviano, right?
Toviano, I think. I don't know.
Is he Italian?
It's T-O, so I think it's Toviano.
It's not Tav. Yeah. Like I said. So
yeah, I don't think that's it. But still a big get. A lot of people competing for his commitment. I think he's like the 50th to 100th player nationally ranked.
Maybe he's the number one player coming out of Texas. That's what I saw.
And then, no, I don't think so. But
okay, maybe I'm just.
He's 9th in the state of Texas.
That's why you're our recruiting guy, and I'm not.
That's all right. But John, your point on the portal, as far as we lost Cole Taylor, that puts us with just Mason Taylor as a scholarship tight end. We signed 3 tight ends this year because, hopefully 2 of those guys work out. 1 might leave. You have to continue to stack these great classes on top of each other. Signed a couple running backs. Like I said, a good O-line class. Defensive tackle and linebacker are 2 parts of this class that worry me a little bit. Cornerback, pretty solid. Safety, solid. But yeah, I think that it was a solid class. You'd like to do better, but it's hard. This wasn't a full year recruiting for Brian Kelly, and people was like, oh, he's been here for whatever, 16 months, 14 months. Dude, but it takes so longer than that. You have to build long-standing relationships. Why is Ole Miss not good at recruiting, but Lane's good in the portal? The portal recruiting, it's a week. It's maybe not even a week. It could be 2 days. You don't have to build these lasting relationships with them.
Right.
Kiffin's known to have struggled with that over the years as far as recruiting these top guys. You have to have relationships with them for 2, 3, 4 years. So he's able to sign these great portal classes, but will he be able to sign, these great signing classes and build and develop talent at Ole Miss? I don't know, but we are hopeful that Brian Kelly will be able to recruit an even better class next year.
Yep. And I have full faith in that. I'm not worried about that at all, but Lovey, you did pretty good. I tried to throw you.
I tried to go as fast as I could.
I'm like misinformation being spread. I'm just saying all this stuff that comes to my mind.
Dude, honestly, when you stopped me, I knew what it was already.
Did you?
I swear. I swear I knew what you were going to say.
Well, Rory sent that, and I was just like, here we go.
Look, like, Besh just tweeted the crying, laughing faces.
So is
like he would have stayed. I retweeted it for the people.
What if he decommits from TCU?
And comes back? Yeah, he probably already signed.
All right. So I think that about wraps up the transfer and the recruiting trail, and all of LSU's future and I guess even players that are not coming back. Do we want to do a quick mini basketball segment? It kind of stinks. I'm going to just go ahead and say, yeah, LSU is +4. We're about to head to the PMAC. We actually probably need to wrap up this episode pretty soon so we can get there. But LSU is +4 tonight against Arkansas. Do you want to fast forward to us after the game when we come back here, since we're such dedicated podcast hosts?
Yep. LSU just won. Huge upset over Arkansas. John and I are in the building. The Tigers do not lose.
Yes. And we're about to head to the press conference. LSU, we're predicting them at minimum SEC.
Maybe a
West
3 seed in the tournament.
Champions.
Yeah.
So awesome. All right. We'll just go back to
Tigers.
Yeah, we'll go back to the regularly scheduled program. Man, that game was. I'm really looking forward to that game tonight, Luffy. It's going to be awesome. The PMAC's going to be electric. Start of SEC play, Mac McMahon era. Both teams 11-1. Arkansas is ranked number 9, I believe, coming into the PMAC. It's going to be an electric environment. So,
look, yeah, it is going to be fun.
All right, I want to do one.
We have
one little quick segment we got to get to before we get to the House Always Wins segment.
Which we only have one pick because we're behind in the challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that won't take long.
Mike Leach.
Yep. R.I.P.
He passed away the week after. We definitely would have probably mentioned him every episode in the past couple weeks, but totally sad news for Mississippi State. I know, Luffy, you're from Mississippi. You got a lot of friends that went to Mississippi State. I know we're kind of, this is a few weeks out from that, but incredibly sad for college football. One of the most entertaining people in college football. And I wish I wish there was more people like him on this world.
Yeah, my Mike Leach story is that I was in Starkville one time. It was like in the springtime baseball weekend, and we were walking like to their like downtown Starkville area. I don't know what they call it there. And he was sitting outside at like a bar, drinking a beer and eating wings. So if we could all be a little bit more like Mike Leach, we'd probably all be a little happier.
Well, yeah, it's like that video of him doing the radio interview and the guy's still talking and he's like, yeah, and we'll be right back on. And as the guys, we'll be right back on 10 whatever college, whatever. And as he's saying that, Mike Leach takes his headphones off, grabs a thing of barbecue sauce that's sitting on the table, squirts it into the palm of his hand, and then licks it while they're going to a radio commercial. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I have. I saw a bunch of great clips of him during
him blowing on the coffee.
Yeah,
and his views on like weddings and his view. My boss actually showed him one of the videos. He likes Mike Leach a lot too. I showed him that, and he was like, it was the one where he was what's his name, McGee, the guy from ESPN, Marty Smith.
Oh yeah,
Marty Smith. Not it was Marty McGee. Marty Smith was asking him how he likes his coffee, and he was just like, "Coffee's terrible. Why would you put anything in it to get through the harsh, bitter taste?" He's like, "So you're full effect." And he's like, "Absolutely." But every time you see him, he's drinking coffee. So he just hated coffee his whole life, but he needed it to stay awake. So yeah, and like we said, I mean, like the world needs more people like Mike Leach who just will literally sit there and talk to you about anything, speak their mind, always have an entertaining opinion, not take things too seriously. I think earlier this year, I forget who it was against, but he was folding up the chairs on Mississippi State's bench so his players couldn't sit down. Classic move. Do you remember who that was against?
Who was that against?
Arkansas? I don't know, but it was hilarious.
Yeah, that was good.
It was just he's just like, forget it.
It was Arkansas, I think.
You're not gonna to play up our standard, then we're you're not gonna be able to sit down. So yeah, recipes Mike Leach. I think pretty much his videos and I guess everybody will have a memory of him in one way or another. So just wanted to get to that since we haven't recorded in a while. So all right. House Always Wins segment presented by the House Bar in Tigerland. Get on over to the House Bar in Tigerland. Springtime's coming up. You know what that means? Baseball. You know what else it means?
Go to the house in Tigerland.
You know what? Well,
crawfish at the house in Tigerland
is what I am thinking about right now. I cannot wait to get the pod
crawfish while you're watching the baseball game at the house in Tigerland.
Beautiful.
Shout out Jeff, engaged.
Yes, shout out Jeff. And shout out Blaine. Blaine got engaged a while back too. So
yeah, I think you said that like Thursday. Just keep congratulating him getting engaged.
Shout out Jeff.
Years after he's married.
Yeah, Jeff's been a great sponsor of ours. He's been with us since day one.
Yeah, he has.
Congrats to Jeff and Casey over there at the House Bar in Tigerland. Also, if you're in Lafayette, head on over to Crumble Cookie. So, houseintigerland.com, House in Tigerland on Facebook and Instagram, Tigerland House on Twitter. Head on over to the House Bar in Tigerland this spring. All right. We are climbing back. We're climbing back up the ladder. Luffy last week went all in on a max play.
We got to do it again this week
to get us back within reach on the Taking the Over podcast challenge. Luffy just out of nowhere.
I knew that was our only shot.
The day of the Saints game, the Saints were playing the Browns
in Cleveland.
In Cleveland, and Luffy just texted our group text. He said all 5 units Saints money line, and we were like, okay, but it's crazy enough that it just might work. And it did. Yeah,
and we had no other choice. We were doing well. Then we had a couple bad weeks. We were struggling. We had to get back in this little challenge thing. We're back in striking distance. We have to go all in on a game again this week. We're gonna adjust the line to give us better odds, John. I don't know if you can check and see what the odds will be, We're going to move the Jets against the Seahawks in Seattle. Must win for the Jets to make the playoffs to -2.5.
-2.5.
That should be plus 110, plus 120 range. Anyway, plus odds winner for the people. House always wins.
Okay, so we're raising odds because we legitimately have to crawl our way back if we want any chance in the Taking the Over podcast competition. Yeah, we're not going to do individual college picks. It's bowl season, and the majority of the bowls will probably be over by the time we end up recording again. So thank you guys so much for listening. We cannot thank y'all enough. 2022 was a fantastic year for the Out the Box podcast. We did a lot of things that we never would have thought we would have done. Some of those being sitting in the press box covering LSU football games. We had tailgates that were massive successes. And we want nothing more than to continue that into 2023 and do better than we did this past year. We want 2023. LSU baseball is ranked number 1. I know we said that earlier. Like Luffy said, we're only 50 days out. So it's going to be a great year. We cannot thank y'all enough for listening. We're approaching 3 years doing this, Luffy. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I know. It's crazy.
Time flies when you have fun. Shout out to the House Bar in Tigerland, Workbox LLC, Blaine Loop, the Keller Williams Realty. Also want you to know the Keller Williams and Eagle Opportunity Housing Partner, each office independently owned and operated, DraftKings and the Boot Crew Media Network. And Luffy, I was trying on my way over here. I was trying to remember last year on the last episode of the year, we came up with some New Year's resolutions, and I know mine. I cannot remember what you said. I cannot for the life of me remember. I should have went back and listened. You said that you wanted to do more of something. You wanted to play golf more. Yeah. You wanted to play. Did you play golf more this year? Then in 2021, yes. Okay, so you accomplished your New Year's resolution. Okay. Mine was to I think it was to just eat less, like at meals and like Thanksgiving and stuff. I eat more. So I did not always 2023. Right. But what is your I'm not going to do the same one. I already tried it. Why try it? Why keep doing the same one over and over? Why not try one that I can actually win? It's like, what if in college football you only played the same team each year? Yeah, what about you could do like be a better gambler? Well, that's kind of goes along with it. I think what I'm going to have to do is create a gambling budget. You know, like if I think that's what it's going to have to come down to. I know that sounds kind of more degenerate, but it's actually more responsible, because if you create a budget, and you actually stick to the budget and you don't go over it, then you're actually being responsible about it, right? Yeah, that's right. So you're an accountant, right? Yeah. You need to. You saying spend less money? Well, no, just spend less. Like, yeah, well, just set a number and say, okay, like, I'm gonna set this much for parlays, this much for straight bets, this much for teasers, and I'm gonna do it on a monthly basis. And then I'll put a little cap on each week. You know, you divide the month by 4 weeks or whatever, but it will be broken down by, well, you can't do it by numbers because odds are always different. But I'm thinking I need to establish a good unit system too. I'm not consistent enough with my units. I get too excited when LSU has a good spread, or when the Saints look like they might win a game or something, or whenever I think something's a term I use a lot. So I guess if you could summarize my New Year's resolution, it's going to be to use the term lock of the century less, which would mean that I'm not going to put as much money on as many games, which in turn means that I'm essentially operating under a budget. But yeah, I need you to get that together for me. All right, I got you. What's yours? Travel more. Very basic. Wow. Yeah. I would like to say golf even more, but well, what if you travel and play golf at the places? That'll be it. That'll be it. All right. Well, cheers to 2023, brother. Go Tigers. All right, go Tigers.